I was wondering what I was going to do with all these massive mustard leaves I had in my garden. So I decided to make cabbage rolls because, I mean, a leaf is a leaf. I have a ton of them. This is going to be sort of a long video, I think, because I'm going to do this. I hate editing videos, so I'm going to do this all in one video. So if you want the recipe for it, I'm going to have it down below, so check out down below and you can get the recipe for this, and I'm just making this up as I go. What I have here are some huge mustard leaves. I had a ton of these in my garden, and what I did was I just cut the rib out of each one of them. So took the hard core piece that runs down the back out of each one of them, and now I'm just going to, just like you would cabbage for cabbage rolls, I'm just going to dunk these down in some boiling water and just cook them a little. I'm just going to gently place them in the pot here. I'll just put this one on the top. So I'm just going to let them steam there. I'm turning the heat off now. I don't want to overcook them. And I have a frying pan on high. Now, you can do these vegetarian, and I have done them vegetarian before. You can use mushrooms, or you don't have to use anything other than what I'm using. I had an extra abundance of bok choy, baby bok choy, in the garden as well. So I decided to put this in the stuffing. So I just put about 2 tablespoons of olive oil in the pan because I have this grass-fed organic beef burger patty, and the only ingredient in it was ground beef. So I'm going to use that in here. And these are very lean. So I'm going to use this for the filling. And I'm just going to chop it up. You can use chicken meat, any kind of ground meat that you like, or just use mushrooms, or just strictly green veggies if you like. The stuffing can be really anything you want. Now you want to have some pre-cooked rice on hand. I have some pre-cooked organic rice. I cooked this morning. Now this is my everything spice, and I make this with my own custom spice blend. You can use whatever spices you like. About a tablespoon of that, and a nice hefty pinch, probably, maybe it's going to be a teaspoon of Celtic salt. And I'll stir that around in the meat here. Alright, so what I chopped up here from the garden is some baby bok choy, celery, and shallots, these little purple shallots. And you can put whatever you have on hand. Peppers, tomatoes, any kind of onions, any kind of greens. So, but the one thing I do think it needs is onion, some sort of onion, green onion, yellow onion, shallots, it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to stir this all around until it wilts, and I'm cutting up some of the big pieces of bok choy. And what I also have here in the background is stewed tomatoes. You can use any kind of organic stewed tomatoes that you like. And to the stewed tomatoes, for the sauce that'll go over the top, I have fresh oregano and fresh basil. And then to that sauce, which I'm just going to put on a simmer, is just the like I said, it's just the tomatoes and the fresh herbs. I'm going to add a little bit of honey. You can add whatever sweetener you like. Brown sugar is great in this recipe as well. I'm just going to add about a tablespoon of honey. I'm just going to let that just warm. And I'm also going to put in another pinch of Celtic salt. Now these freeze up extremely well. I'm going to make a dozen of these. And you can pop these in the freezer and they do wonderfully. You can take them out and just let them thaw, or you can place them in the oven because they have the tomato sauce on them. You can easily place them in the oven. Now, if your greens look like they're starting to stick to the pan a little bit, just add a tiny bit of water. I love making these meals that I can use up what I have in the garden. because I mean, I'd never just eat a pile of mustard like this. And then I can freeze it up and have it on a later date. These are excellent in the winter when we get back from skiing or out going for a walk. It's really nice to come home and just take a few of these out of the freezer and pop them in the oven. Alright, I'm going to crank my heat up a little bit there now. And I have the rice there. Now, my greens are already wilted, so I'm going to take these out now and put them in a cold bath of water. I'm just going to bring them over to the sink. Alright, well, I got a little bit of cold water running over them. I'm just going to add the rice to this mixture here. So I'm doing 12 of these, so I want like 12 spoonfuls of rice. Actually, I'll put in 11 because there will be lots of there's lots of green stuff there to deal with. So, all right, so I'm just going to stir all this through. So I'm just going to put a little teriyaki sauce in this. You don't have to do that. I like the little saltiness it adds. I'm going to turn the heat off now. Okay, so this is the filling for the cabbage rolls, or the mustard rolls in this case. Now I carefully have to take a cooked leaf out of, they were cooled down and they're little tangles. Alright, so when I take my cooked leaf out of here, just spread it out on a cutting board or if you want to spread it, and you'll see the two little tails here where I cut the piece out of the middle. Sorry, my arm is in the way. Right, so we'll take that up, take that over, and roll along. Push that one in. Alright, so again we'll do the sides in first because that's been working the best. And the top down. And then roll along. Be careful of your fingers because these are really hot. I have in here 10 cabbage rolls done with mustard leaves. And now what I'm going to do, and this is pretty much the last step, I have my tomatoes and herbs with a little bit of sea salt, a little bit of honey. I'll stir that all around in here. Chop up any of the larger pieces of the tomato. And I'm going to pour this in over just to cover. Get it all down through. Now you can add a little cornstarch or flour if you want the sauce to be thicker. I don't care for the sauce to be thicker. I'm happy with it. And just turn it around and make sure it's gone all the way down through. If not, just you know where your cabbage rolls are sitting. So you can just move it around and let that tomato go all down through it. And that's it. Just bake this in the oven until the tomatoes thicken up a little bit and everything is warm. And then they're ready to eat or ready to freeze. Alright, so don't forget to subscribe, and I hope you like this recipe, and thanks for watching.